Okay, I just recorded this topic in Polish, in my native tongue, but one of the viewers have suggested that maybe the Americans would also have some use of me talking about it in English, about the famous scene in the popular TV series The Newsroom. And in this series, the main character is calls himself Will McAvoy, and he's portrayed by he's played this role is played by Jeff Daniels, who is magnificent when it comes to making very inspiring monologues as an actor, of course, and he was doing it precisely in one of the scenes of the famous, maybe not famous, not famous enough, very good film, a very good movie about George Washington and his victory over the Hessians at Trenton during the American War of the Independence. And he was also Jeff Daniels also made a wonderful speech as an actor in that film, and so it's no wonder for me that no astonishment at all that also he was given this opportunity to make a great monologue in this TV series, The Newsroom. We have the scene in which he is sitting down between on a chair between um, American female politician who is representing the Democratic Party, of course, woman, and also a little bit stereotypically a man who is a little bit scoutish in his behavior, very typical, stereotypically again, for the Republican Party. So they are all three of them, they are asked by one of the viewers in that scene, they are asked why America is the greatest country in the world. And the woman who was representing the Democratic Party, she gave an answer: diversity and opportunity. And the Republican said freedom and freedom, and this joke was generally praised and met with humor and laughs. And but the main character, this Will McAvoy, yeah, he's dodging the question and he's saying something about sports and rubbish, and but they are pushing him to answer, and he's saying, well, it's not America, it's not the greatest country in the world. For instance, he said that to the Republican politician, he said that you mentioned freedom as if it were something special for them, United States. It's not me paraphrase. I am paraphrasing it. So he said that well, Japan has freedom, Canada has freedom, Australia has freedom, Germany, France, United Kingdom, they all have freedom, and most of the countries in the he even said that most of the countries of the UN have freedom, and it's a gross exaggeration for starters. So he said that even Belgium has freedom. Belgium is sometimes portrayed in the English-speaking world as some sort of a pariah, a country without a real culture, because it's divided into Flemish and the Flemish people and Walloons, and also linguistically separated. And they are even Monty Python was poking fun in Belgium many times. You Belgian, because there is a crowd for German, yes, a speak for Spaniard, a Yankee for an American, and nothing for Belgian. So you Belgium, it's already an insult. So and I am pitying the Belgians for this attitude of the English-speaking people, because it's not fair to be chosen as an object for poking fun at. But still, he mentioned that even Belgium has freedom, right? So and this speech, this big speech, and he is not letting anybody interrupt him. This big, inspiring speech is portrayed as something that we should probably agree with. That something that is portrayed as something, presented as something, and something inspiring, and so on. Well, it's not. This speech is a big bullshit, because it's not a bullshit, because he is developing his thought, and he said, elaborating on the thought, and he's saying that America used to be first in anything, in arts. Really, Greenwich Village is really better than, I don't know, Paris and Milan. I don't know, maybe, yeah. So, and in sciences, yes, there was a period in which America was first in science, in technology, and in many fields, ours still is number one. But okay, maybe generally not. So he is saying that we were fighting poverty and not the poor, and so on, and some other things, that America used to be first in almost everything, but it's now not. And it's all presented as if it were as a big problem. And that's bullshit. It's not bullshit. Um, the whole idea of saying that America is not number one in the world in anything, or not in many things, more maybe he's saying that America is first only in the number of people who are convinced that adults who are convinced that angels exist, and in the incarceration, so the number of people who are kept in prison per capita, in proportion to the whole number of inhabitants of the state. So it's not true. America is number one in many other things, but yeah, it's not number one in, not even close to being in the majority of things we could imagine here. So the whole idea of saying that America is either was first in anything and now it's in almost nothing, this is laughable. This is presented as if it was some sort of a smart thought, a smart and aggressive and very much needed theory, but it's not. It's not, because America is still in some particular things number one in the world. For instance, in the study of artificial intelligence, is number one in the world. In some other things like that, and but the whole idea that America was number one in anything in the, I don't know, 50s 60s, usually a little bit lefty Hollywood is criticizing those periods, but okay, so it means that America was number one in almost anything, like decade three, or decade or two, or three decades ago. It's laughable, because America was number one in anything in the 50s, just in the 50s, because the whole developed world was destroyed after World War II. There were only two major countries, and which had their industry. They had really independent and sophisticated industry, and it was intact mainly. It was Sweden and the United States. And of course, Sweden is a relatively small country. So, of course, in America, and also to some extent also Sweden, they were first in everything, because it was very easy thing to do. The whole other countries were, well, the whole other all other nations were living in the piles of ruins. So it's not it's not no wonder that America was first in everything. So this whole speech is presented in this TV series, very popular one. Unfortunately, when it comes to this scene, because generally it's a pretty good TV series, but this scene is presented to us as if as some sort of higher wisdom, and it's not. It's bullshit on so many levels. So that's why I'm criticizing it here officially, right?